History remembers Napoleon through battles, borders, and laws, but some of the most powerful judgments of him were not written in books. They were written in music. From the concert halls of Vienna to the Orthodox churches of Moscow, composers used symphonies, marches, and even cannons to say exactly what they believed Napoleon represented. To some, he was a hero. To others, a tyrant. To Russia, the Antichrist. This is the story of Napoleon, told by the music he inspired. Before Napoleon crowned himself emperor, he was admired across Europe as the great hope of the Enlightenment, a liberator, a breaker of chains, the enemy of monarchy. No one believed this more deeply than Ludwig van Beethoven. In 1803, Beethoven wrote a symphony unlike any ever composed, monumental, heroic, revolutionary. He dedicated it to Napoleon, the man he believed would remake Europe in the image of freedom. The first movement charges forward with unstoppable energy. The funeral march mourns the death of tyranny, and the finale erupts with triumphant hope. This was Beethoven's musical tribute to a world without kings. But then, Napoleon crowned himself emperor. Beethoven's assistant wrote that the composer tore the title page in rage, shouting, "Now he will trample the rights of man." In that moment, Napoleon changed in Beethoven's eyes from hero to betrayer of the revolution. Years later, Beethoven composed another piece about Napoleon, but this one was no tribute. Wellington'svictory, written in 1813, celebrated Napoleon's defeat in Spain. Instead of heroic themes, Beethoven filled the music with theatrical battle sounds, marching drums, musket fire, and clashing orchestras. This was not admiration, this was mockery, a musical victory parade celebrating Napoleon's downfall. Beethoven had come full circle. Napoleon the Liberator had become Napoleon the Tyrant. But nowhere was Napoleon judged more harshly than in Russia. In 1812, as French forces burned villages, destroyed churches, and marched on Moscow, Russians searched for ways to explain such devastation. In Tolstoy's War and Peace, characters describe Napoleon not simply as a conqueror, but as the Antichrist, a man of overwhelming ego who threatened the spiritual order of the world. Tolstoy portrays ordinary Russians who saw Napoleon as a godless force, a living omen of apocalypse, the embodiment of pride before destruction. Decades later, Tchaikovsky transformed this same national memory into one of the most dramatic musical works ever written, the 1812 Overture. It begins with a Russian Orthodox hymn, a plea for divine protection. Then suddenly, the French national anthem, La Marseillaise, intrudes like an invading army. The two themes clash violently. Cannons explode, the music collapses into chaos. Finally, the Russian hymn rises again, joined by thunderous church bells that crush the French melody beneath them. This is not just musical storytelling, it is spiritual triumph. In sound, Tchaikovsky expresses what Tolstoy wrote in words. Napoleon was the force Russia had to overcome, not only militarily, but morally. To Russia, he was not the hero of liberty. He was a proud conqueror who defied God and fell. Two composers, two nations, three Napoleons. To early Beethoven, he was a heroic liberator. To later Beethoven, he became a fallen tyrant. To Tchaikovsky and to Tolstoy, he was a destructive force, a threat to the soul of Russia itself. Napoleon's legacy is not just political, it is emotional, it is cultural. It echoes in symphonies, overtures, and national memory. Music reveals a deeper truth. The world didn't just fight Napoleon, it argued about him. Napoleon reshaped Europe through force. Music reshaped him through memory. Whether hero or monster, savior or antichrist, Napoleon inspired some of the greatest composers in history to judge him, through sound, through emotion, through art. Long after the battles have faded, the music still plays.